Kahnawake Gabriel on deck for the Hawks.
And that's it well at the shallow left. That will find a gap and go to the warning track. One run is in. The Warhawks have opened the scoring. Norton on her horse. Peter getting it to third. And she has a 2-run triple. And the Warhawks have opened the scoring. Welcome to the hospital ball field for Game 2 of the 2021 U13 Regional Championships on Baby Blue Memories. I'm Brandon Bordeaux. Today's matchup is for first place in the Blue Division. The winner's moving on. The loser may still have a chance to win through a backdoor tiebreaker. We'll get to all those scenarios coming up in just a little bit. Let's take a look at this matchup. The Warhawks on the road taking on the St. Lazare Gris, 13-2 in the Montérégie West Division during the year. That was good enough for second place. The Warhawks, as we mentioned, 10-6-2 in the Lac St. Louis Division this season. Today's starting pitcher for the Mustangs is James Langan. And meanwhile, for the Warhawks, Cade Stacy, Casey Delabouche, Jada Norton, 1, 2, 3, 2 up in this inning. Rastum Dahaway Gabriel will hit fourth. Cage McCumber will bat fifth. Ethan Brascoop, Joran Norton, Jackson Norton, Lily Barnes, and Rosanagete Lahash. So what happens is that the 4 group winners move on to the next round, as do the top 2 wildcard teams. And if you're a team that's just hoping to get in, the results that occurred this morning were godsends. That's right, the Blue Sox, Chattagee Blue Sox, were blown out by Mercy Rule 13-1 by St. Lazare. And then Valleyfield lost 11-3 against Surwa. So what that means is that both of those 2 teams finished 1-1, but negative runs for, runs against differential. The Warhawks +7 run differential coming into this game tonight. The Mustangs +2 following a shootout win yesterday, 15-13 against the Chattagee Red Sox. The Warhawks, of course, victors over that Red Sox team by a final count of 14-7. And here we go, the Warhawks in red with black trim. They're the road team for this game. And there's ball 1 on the outside to Cade Stacy, today's leadoff batter. The Mustangs wearing gray with blue and red trim. They are the home team for this matchup. And again, a 15-13 win yesterday over the Red Sox. If this game ends close, you got to feel good for both teams moving on. Stacy on the ground, up the middle, and that'll get through to the outfield. And Cade Stacy is aboard with a leadoff single. Remember, the Warhawks finished second in the division in runs scored, averaging nearly 11 runs per game, and hung up 14 in 4 innings on Thursday in that win over the Red Sox. So here's Casey Delabouche, who went 1 for 3 on Thursday, including a run scored. Takes ball 1 on the inside, and Cade Stacy kind of just got caught up between going or not, and now he's going to have an opportunity to head to third. Stacy's in there, and he will stay and gets hit in the back for his troubles. It's worth the 2 bags, though, and the Warhawks have a runner on third with nobody out. That would be out if it was soccer baseball. 1-0 on Delabouche. Here's the pitch from Langan. Upstairs, ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes on Delabouche. We mentioned 1 for 3 on Thursday in that 14-7 win over the Red Sox. And yesterday's matchup was a very seesaw affair. Ball 3-3-0 between the Mustangs and the Red Sox. The Sox actually jumped out to a 5-1 lead before the Mustangs hung a couple of 5-run maxes and prevailed 15-13. And that is ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk to Delabouche puts runners on the corners for Jada Norton. Speaking with the head coach of the Mustangs earlier, and he said the big question for him would be the control issues of his pitching staff. The Red Sox had apparently just 2 base hits, but put up 13 runs. And there's a swing and miss at strike one. And meanwhile, Delabous takes off on the base paths, and she'll get to second, so there's no double play involved. Runners on second and third. That's a steal for Delabous. Norton on the ground, a slow roller. The throw to first. In time, they got her at first. That'll score a run, and the Warhawks have drawn first blood. It's 1-0 Kahnawake. And here's Rustin Dahaway Gabriel stepping into bat, the number 4 batter. Gabriel takes ball 1 outside. Cage McCumber on deck. Kahnawake has opened the scoring. 1-0 Warhawks. Runner on third, 1 out. Gabriel swings through strike 1, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Coming up tomorrow, U13 Warhawks playing an elimination game, the 4v5 elimination matchup for them. They'll take on the team which finishes last in Pool B. That's strike 2 right down Broadway, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 to Gabriel. Takes ball 2 in the dirt. Runner on third for the Warhawks, and a 1-0 lead. Cage McCumber on deck. And that's smoked! And that's heading to the warning track. That's going to hit the wall. 1 run scores. Gabriel on his horse. The right fielder got it now. He's going to come in, and Gabriel is going to head for home. There's a throw into second, and Rustin Dahaway Gabriel scores an inside the park home run. His second of the playoffs, and it's 3-0 Warhawks. Rustin Dahaway Gabriel has put the Warhawks up by a field goal, and Cage McCumber steps into bat. And there's a swing and miss. Some high stuff there. It's 0-1. Cage McCumber and then Ethan Brascoop will follow Cage. So the Warhawks have put up 3. And McCumber sends this one into left field. That's heading to the warning track. McCumber on his horse. He's on his way to second. Cage McCumber rounding second, heading for third. And they're going to send him home. The throw to the shortstop. It's bobbled. And now the throw home. He scores! Back to back inside the Park Jacks. And Kahnawake's off to a 4-0 start. And here comes Ethan Brascoop wearing a baseball hat underneath his helmet. Standing in here with his team up 4, and he sends a shot into left field. That's going to get by the left fielder and get further into the distance. Ethan on his horse, heading to second. They're going to send him to third. This is going to be a tough play. And they're going to send him home. He scores! Back to back to back home runs! And it's a 5 spot here in the top of the first. The Warhawks max out. It's 5-0. We're going to the bottom of the first. What a start for the home team, or the hosts anyway, but not the home team, here at the Hospital Ball Field. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to the Hospital Ball Field, bottom of the first inning. This game brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo, home of the 9 Grand Slam. Check them out every day for your card purchases from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now open. It's been a long 15 plus months or so that the Super Bingo was closed. But But it's good to be back, and it's good to have regional baseball back after a 2-year absence. The U13 Warhawks starting this game off with a 5-run spurt, back-to-back-to-back home runs by Gabriel, Cage McCumber, and Ethan Brascoop. Has Kahnawake in a good position here to start the bottom of the first, but it's still a very, very, very long game, and this Mustangs team can score runs. They scored 14 in that victory yesterday. Sorry, 15, a 15-13 win over the Red Sox. Jada Norton starting off facing Gabriel Ranger, who steps in for the Mustangs here. And Norton working from a lead, and that's a little high for ball one. Ranger, Martel, Simon Martel, and then Braden Bessie. The three up for the Mustangs here. That's off the plate, and it's a 2-0 count. As Norton sets. Hit on the ground to short, and it hops on Gabriel. He's going to have a tough play to throw to first. In time, they got him, one down. Good recovery by Dustin Dahaway Gabriel on the putout. It goes 5-3, and that's out number one. I only remember that because of the Expos games. I also caught a couple of home run balls, but that's because my grandfather and I were the only ones sitting in that section. Oh, I missed the Expos. That's one down, and here comes Simon Martel, the number 2 batter, a lefty. So a lefty on righty matchup here. And that's going to find a hole on the right side of the outfield. And the throw gets by. And here's the throw to second. They got him at second. No. Actually, it's a dead ball. It's a dead ball, so the runner's awarded second base. It's a dead ball because it hit the backstop, or it hit a bat. So the runner gets the second base. There's one down, and here comes the number 3 batter for the Mustangs, Braden Bessie. Runner on second, one out, and here's the pitch from Jada Norton. That one sails above the strike zone. 1 ball, no strikes. 5-0 lead for the Warhawks. Bottom of the first inning. 1 down for the Mustangs. A win for Kahnawake clinches them a spot into at least the final 6. On the ground. Good stop. And the runner's going to first. They flip it and they get the force at first. There's 2 down. Back-to-back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the first for the Warhawks. Dustin Dahaway Gabriel, Cage McCumber, Ethan Brascoop, putting the Warhawks up 5-0. As Cage's folks have just come here, and luckily unfortunately they'll have to wait 24 hours to see the home run, but 2 down, runner on third. Warhawks trying to get out of this inning without giving up a run. They need a put out here. Ball 1-0. On the cleanup hitter, Maxim DiBattista, stepping into bat, 1-0. Here's the pitch. And that hits the plate for ball 2. 2-0 on DiBattista, 5-0 Warhawks, runner on third. Mustangs trying to break through in the bottom of the first. And that sails into the strike zone, 2-1. Tomorrow night, U13 Warhawks in a 4v5 elimination matchup. We'll have that for you, coverage starting at 7 o'clock at Park Marcel in Valleyfield. The winner moves on to the quarterfinals. 2-1 is behind him, and now it's 3-1. Jacob Bergeron on deck for the Mustangs. This team finished 13-2, second in the Montérégie West Division, only behind the Red Mustangs, who advanced with a dominant performance this morning against Valleyfield. Hit well to right, that's going to find a hole, and maybe even more so, it's going to get to the wall. Di Battista on his horse, getting to second, they throw it in. The throw to third. And he's safe at third. It's an RBI triple. And the Mustangs are on the board. And that makes it 5-1. Mustangs on the board. The Surwall Rays also advanced after a 13-1 blowout this morning. They beat the Chateauguay Blue Sox, so the Blue Sox have been eliminated. Ball one. And then the game after this, if that's a close game, you have to feel like both teams would be very happy. Warhawks +7 in run differential, Mustangs +2 coming into this game today. 2-0 on Bergeron. 2-0 on Bergeron. That's in there. Strike one, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. That's outside and off the plate, and suddenly 3 balls and a strike here on Bergeron. Colin Maneri on deck. There's the 3-1 coming in. That's going to miss, and it's ball 4. And runners are on the corners for the Mustangs. So here's Colin Maneri stepping in. As Norton sets. There's ball 1, 1-0. Actually, an interesting thing about Maneri, who's at the plate right now. His father and I made contact, and we were actually going to be filming a playoff game on March 13th of 2020, but we all know what happened on March 11th with the shutdown. But yeah, we had, I believe it was the HRS Hawks and the Vaudreuil Vikings that were going to go head-to-head, and of course, we had to postpone a lot of things due to something that we're still combating right now. Ball 2, and Bergeron takes off and is shot out of a cannon, gets the second base on the steal. So 2 runners in scoring position for Maneri. 5-1 Warhawks, but the Mustangs have put one up here and have another 2 in scoring position. We hear Cowboys from Hell on a boat in the background from Pantera. 3-0, the count. (3-0) on Maneri. Here's the pitch. That's outside, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Maneri to load the bases. So back-to-back walks for the Mustangs, and Aiden Yandel comes in right now with a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure for both ways here. Yandel represents what would be the game-tying run. Bases are loaded. Hit well into center. That's going to find the gap. Base hit. 1 run scores. They're sending another runner in there. The throw to home, not in time, and the Mustangs have scored 2, and it's 5-3. And the Mustangs make it 5-3. with Joel Thompson stepping into bat. A big hit for Yandel to make it 5-3. And Thompson takes ball one. Maneri's at second. Yandel at first. And Yandel represents what would be the game-tying run. A clutch two-run single for him. Now back up to Thompson. And it's 2-0 on Thompson. Maneri thinking about it, but he's not going to go. Hit off the edge of the bat. And they have a put out at second. The Mustangs come back with 3 and have sliced the Warhawks lead to 5-3 after 1 inning. We're coming back with the top of the second. Jordan Norton, Jackson Norton, Lily Barnes due up for the Hawks. We're coming back. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to the Hospital Ball Field, top of the second inning on Baby Blue Memories. Our score is 5-3 Warhawks in this U13 matchup. The winner clinches first place in the Blue Division. The team that loses will need a little bit of help to get into the next round. Both teams got a little bit of that help because of a couple of blowouts which took place earlier. The Chateauguay Blue Sox losing 11-3 to St. Lazare Red, and Sherwa, the Rays, pounded Valleyfield 13-1 by mercy rule. So both of those two teams which lost fell to 1-1 in their respective pools. Still plenty of ball game here though. That's in there on the inside corner, 0-1 to Jordan Norton, who's starting this inning off. Jordan, Jackson, and Lily Barnes, the 3 that'll come in to face James Langan in his second inning of work. Ball 1 off the plate, it's 1-1. Warhawks scored 5 in the first, and then the Mustangs came back with 3, left 2 runners on. The U18s will be playing tomorrow in a 4v5 elimination match, and we'll have that for you as Norton swings and misses here, 1-2. Despite being +7 in runs, 4 runs against, including a head-to-head win over one of the teams which ended up tied with them. That's 2-2. They beat the St. Lazare Mustangs yesterday 15-6, ended up in a 3-way tie with the Mustangs and with Pierrefonds. But they get the 4th seed. And there's a swing and miss, strike 3. That's the first out. And that is a great start for the Mustangs. Here's Jackson Norton. Jackson was 0 for 1 on Thursday with a walk and a stolen base. Now Langan looks like he got his second wind in between innings. On the ground to third, tough play, knocked down, throw across the diamond, in time, 2 up and 2 down. What a play by De Batista, scooping that ball up in the dirt over at first, and there's 2 down. 2 up and 2 down, and in steps Lily Barnes for the Hawks. Ball 1. She was 0 for 2 with a walk in that victory on Thursday over the Red Sox. On the ground, but foul. And it's a 1-1 count. Join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock when the U18 Warhawks play against the team which finishes last in the opposing division. It's a 4v5 elimination game. Warhawks beat St. Lazare yesterday 15-6, and then we'll be also joining you on Wednesday for the quarterfinals of the U15s. and plenty of action in between. We just don't know who, what, when, and where, and mostly how. It's 2-1 here on Barnes. Listen to get Lahash on deck for the Warhawks. Oh! And Barnes takes a shot in the back of the leg. And that is the third time she's been hit this season. So here's Rusana Gete Lahash. Fouls this one off, it's 0-1. Lahash and then Cade Stacy, the top of the lineup, do up afterwards. Here's the 0-1. Oh, and that misses him. Barnes is going. And Lily's in there with a stolen base. So it looks like she can run, which is good. So it's 1-1 on Lahash. On the ground to third. And they missed a tag at third. And both runners are safe. And with 2 runners on, Cade Stacy will step into bat. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. 5-3 Hawks. Runners on the corners. Upstairs for ball 1. And with a force over at second, I would not be surprised if Connor Stacy decides to send Lahash over the second to eliminate that force play at second base. 2 outs here, you run on anything, right? 2 runners on for Cade Stacy. Casey Delaboost on deck. That misses, and Lahash holds his ground over at first, 2-0.
2 balls, no strike.
And Stacy swings to strike 1. It's 2-1.
2 balls, 1 strike.
5-3 Warhawks here in the top of the second. 2 outs. No runs in for Kahnawake in this inning. That's strike 2, and it's a 2-2 count. One strikeout already in this inning for Langen. Trying to get 2 and trying to get his team out of the inning. The 2-2. On the ground. A slow roller back to second. There's a throw to first in time, and the Mustangs get out of this inning without surrendering a run. And it's 5-3 Kahnawake heading into the bottom of the second. Mustangs looking to tie it up and then some. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to the hospital ball field, bottom of the second. It's 5-3 Warhawks in this U13 matchup with the Gray Mustangs of St. Lazare. There's ball 1 off the dish. Felix Martel, Ludovic Laroche, and Christopher Stefanakis, the 3 up for the Stangs here in the bottom of the second. We already know 2 of our final 6 competitors, the Mercier Rays, as well as the St. Lazare Red Mustangs. One's in there, strike 1, 1-1. The Red Mustangs, an 11-3 win today, or sorry, the Black Mustangs, an 11-3 win over the Chateauguay Blue Sox. And the Mercier Rays mercy-ruled Valleyfield 13-1. Off the edge of the bat, Gabriel picks it up, the throw across the diamond, it's out of the way. And we're going to have a discussion with the umpires. The question is there runner interference? or did the ball hit a bag? And they say it did hit the bag, so the runner will be awarded second. So Martel's on second, and what would be the game-tying run is coming at the bat right now. Ludovic Laroche. Hit off the edge of the bat, picked up. Lahash's throw off the bag. And they called them out at first. There's one down. Said he touched the bag and then threw it to third. So there's a runner on third with one down, and here's Christopher Stefanakis representing what would be the game-tying run coming into bat. 5-3 Warhawks, bottom of the second. He's tall, but he's not that tall. It's ball one. Couple of ground balls hitting this inning. And that's the one thing, that's the trend we noticed with Jada. She's a ground ball pitcher. There's another one on the ground. Norton mishandles it. The throw not in time. Then they got a runner trapped. The throw home, not in time, he scores! So Martel scores. Stefanakis safe at first. And the tying run is aboard, and the potential game leading run is over at the dish right now with one down. It's Langen. Five-4 Warhawks in the bottom of the second. One in for the Mustangs this inning. Off the dish, ball one.
Be focused.
Ball two. Two balls, no strikes, one runner on for the Mustangs. The elimination round starts in this section. Will start on Tuesday. The top two teams overall advance to the semifinals, which take place, I believe, Thursday. There's a ball three.
3 balls, no strike.
And right now, the Mercier Rays look like a heavy favorite to go there, following a dominant performance this morning against Valleyfield. Off the edge of the bat. There's a flip to second. One down. The throw. Not in time at first.
Stay out. Stay out.
Play, guys.
Two down. So here's Gabriel Ranger, who grounded out back in the first, 0 for 1 on the day. 5-4 Warhawks, 2 outs, and a runner on first for the Mustangs. Hit to first, and they tag him on the base path, so that's going to do it for the bottom of the second. The Mustangs score 1. The Warhawks still lead by that same margin. It's 5-4 Kahnawake. You're heading into the top of the third. You're listening to Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to the hospital ball field. Top of the third inning. Kahnawake Warhawks, U13s, taking on the St. Lazare Grey Mustangs. 5-4 Mustangs, a powerhouse out of Monterey West. 13 wins, 2 losses on the season. Second place in that division. Only trailing St. Lazare Black, who won this morning over Chateauguay Blue. So they win their division, as does Mercier. And the winner of this game will take home the Blue division. Ball 1 here on The batter, Casey Delabous, Jada Norton, and Rustin Dahaway Gabriel, your 3 in this inning. Jada walked and scored a run back in the first. That's hit well to left center, and it finds a gap. Delabous on her horse, heading to second. She's going to turn to third. And they're going to keep her at... They're going to send her home. Tough play to throw. She scores! Casey Delabous has hit a home run and put the Warhawks back up by 2. 6-4. That is the 4th home run for the Warhawks today. And here's Jada Norton, who hit a sacrifice fly back in the first. 6-4 Warhawks leading. It's a home run for Delabous, and what a way for Kahnawake to start this top of the 3rd inning.
Go, guys!
And that's hit off the end of the bat, making its way to the outfield, and a good catch at short for the first out. And here comes Rustin Dahaway Gabriel, who hit a home run back in the first. 6-4 Warhawks. And they are sending them back because, I mean, Gabriel's home run literally left the yard here.
Big hitter, Wise!
Oh, they know the scouting report, big hitter. But he's not going to swing at this one. It's ball 1.
Pretty good.
I mean, they're back at maybe what would be the 220, 210 mark. Ball 2, and it's 2-0 on Gabriel. 1 out. Warhawks have 1 in this inning. 6-4 Kahnawake. We'll be in Valleyfield tomorrow for the 4v5 elimination game. Winner moves on to the quarterfinals. Warhawks taking on an opponent yet to be determined. That's in there for strike 1. That's a good-looking pitch by Langen. Right at the elbows.
On your toes, boys, on your toes.
And on the inside. Perfect location. Ball 3, it's 3-1.
That's a good pitch. 3-1.
Gabriel has the green light on 3-1. And he takes strike 2, and it's a full count. And now we've got a full count. Remember, Gabriel was involved in a full count at bat last time with Langen as well. Ball 4. Gabriel draws the walk. And here's Cage McCumber, who homered back in the first, stepping into bat. Back-to-back homers for the Warhawks in the first. It seems like that was a game ago, though. 6-4 Kahnawake leading. And a runner on first with 1 out. Ooh, and McCumber was looking for home run number 2 right there. He's going to have to wait a little while to get it, though. It's 0-1. Ball 1. 1-1. Good eye by Cage McCumber. Langen in his 3rd inning of work here. Off the plate, 2-1, just inside. I'm surprised they're not sending Gabriel. He hasn't had a big lead over at first yet. And it's not like they're holding him. Swung on and missed, strike 2, and there you see him kind of jump out over at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ethan Brascoop on deck. Oh! Oh! So that is the second hit by pitcher today for Langen. So Cage McCumber earns a base, a bit of a painful one too, as Brascoop steps in here with 2 runners on and 1 out. There's ball 1, and they're going to send Gabriel over to third, and he'll beat it out. So both runners advanced. There's no forces anywhere. 6-4 Warhawks. 1 run is in for Kahnawake in this top inning. And that's hit into the shallow outfield. That's gonna fall. Brascoop's on his horse. Here's the throw home, and there's 2 runs that'll score. Ethan Brascoop having himself a man's game today. 2 for 2, 3 RBIs, and it's now 8-4 Kahnawake. And Jordan Norton will step in. He's 0 for 1, struck out in the second. Runner on second. 3 runs in for the Warhawks here in the top of the third. Jordan swings through strike 1. And Brascoop playing a little cat and mouse game with the catcher Thompson. 0-1, and we're going to have a timeout here called by Ronnie Stacy. Join us tomorrow night at Park Marcel in Valleyfield as the U13 Warhawks play a 4v5 elimination matchup against whoever comes in last place in Pool B. And then on Wednesday, we'll have quarterfinal coverage for you from the U15 division. That's in St. Laurent. 1 round robin game left for the Warhawks in that division, but they've already clinched first place in their pool. Ball 2. Thompson gets up and makes the play to prevent Brascoop from advancing to third. You see a lot of lead being given over at second because of the shift. The Mustangs have 2 players crowding the shortstop area right now. And the third baseman not really hugging the line. That's hit up the middle. That's going to get through. It's a base hit. Brascoop being waved. Ooh, Jordan playing a little cat and mouse game, and you know what? He's going to just have to get back. If they give it to the pitcher. He's going! Oh my goodness! Just run him down. Run him down and make him go on first base. There we go. We've seen Jordan do. Jordan does that better than anyone at this level. So that's run number 4 of this inning. There's still only 1 out. Runner on first base, and Jackson Norton comes up. He's 0 for 1, grounded out back in the last inning.
You don't go back. Or no, place on second or first.
Ball 1. Can they send him? Yeah. George in at second. Yeah, it's 9-4. It's a 9-4 lead for the Warhawks right now. So my math, which is not the best, says that's 5 runs. Maybe I can use someone who also needs help in math. So, meanwhile, on the base paths, the rule, I believe, is Jordan has to go back to first. The rule we've seen in Lac St. Louis was that they send the runners back. But don't forget the Mustangs play in Montérégie West, which maybe there's some differences, I'm not sure. Anyway, Jordan's back on first, there's still one out, and Jackson Norton's at the dish.
No. Please, Danny. Please, for second.
Foul back. Nine 9-4 Warhawks leading in the top of the third inning. This is a St. Lazare team which could score runs. They put up 15 against Surwa yesterday. Oh, that's a foul ball! Well, that's the most highlight reel strike I think we've seen all season. 1 and 2. Sometimes you don't find the ball finds you. And that barely missed this finding the strike zone. 2 and 2. Ooh, I mean, that one was close. And we got a timeout being called by the catcher, Joel Thompson, who has to get rid of some dust that's on the plate. Lily Barnes on deck. She's been hit by a pitch and also scored a run. Upstairs. Actually, she made it to third, but the third out was completed beforehand. We got a full count here on Jackson Norton. Langen's pitch. Hit well into shallow right center. That's going to fall. Jordan Norton is the 5th run. Don't forget that. Jordan Norton's run number 5. The throw home. Norton coming in. Norton scores! The Warhawks have maxed out for the second time in 3 innings. It's an RBI triple for Jackson Norton, and it's 10-4 Warhawks heading into the bottom of the third. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Please subscribe. We welcome you back to the hospital ball field, bottom of the third inning. It's 10-4 Warhawks leading here in the second game of the U13 regionals. Simon Martel, Braden Bessie, and Maxim De Petista due up. So the 2-3-4 hitters for the Mustangs trying to counter what was a 5-run spurt for the Warhawks. Norton picks it up. The throw to first. Safe at first. He beat it out. Tie goes to the runner, they say. Good hustle by Martel. And here is Braden Bessie, who grounded out back in the first, 0 for 1 on the day. And that hits, does that hit the bat? Wow, that is the second time that happened in like 20 pitches. That happened once all year on our coverage. Must be the regionals. 0-1 on Bessie. Runner on first. No one out. The pitch. That's in there. Finds a strike zone. 0-2. And Jada Norton, who was the game MVP on Thursday, looking good in this at-bat. The 0-2. And that's strike 3. A 3-pitch masterpiece by Jada Norton gets out number 1, and that is her first strikeout of the afternoon. And here comes Maxim De Batista, who is 1 for 1 with a triple. Also drove in 2 runs. That swung on and missed. De Batista kind of looking like he was caught in between laying up and just swinging, and it's 0-1. Ball 1, 1-1. Simon Martel at first. Swung on and missed, 1-2. Jada Norton
One ball, 2 strikes.
can throw 55 pitches today and then have 2 days off before being able to pitch again. Anything over, though, they say that's it. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, 2 down. Jada Norton gets her second strikeout of the day, and there's 2 down for Jacob Bergeron, who walked and scored back in the first. Here's the pitch. That's a little high ball one. Yeah, Norton, the game MVP on Thursday, gave up just 3 runs in 3 innings. On the ground to third. Lahash makes the play to throw to second in time, and that is gonna do it for the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the Warhawks are up by 6 heading into the top of the 4th. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to the hospital ball field. 3 innings of play in the books. The Kahnawake Warhawks leading the St. Lazare Gray Mustangs 10-4. So after Langen pitched 3 innings, Yandel will come in and take his place. And he'll go up against Lily Barnes, Russanagete Lahash, and Cade Stacy. Kahnawake leading 10-4. This game brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. The winner of this game will advance to the next round for sure, and then it might come down to runs for, runs against differential to see if the Warhawks can get one of those top 2 spots. Inside on Barnes, ball 1. Couple of blowout games earlier. St. Lazare Black 11-3 over the Chateauguay Blue Sox, and Mercier dismantling Valleyfield 13-1. Almost safe to say that Valleyfield will not be making it into the next round, as we got 2-0 the count on Barnes. Both of these 2 teams 1-0. The winner of this game moves on for sure to the final 6.
Say it again. I want to hear some encouragement out there.
Strike 1 down the middle on Barnes. 2-1. Barnes was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd.
Give her right to back.
Swung on and missed, and it's an even count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Barnes digging in. The 2-2 count pitch. Fouled back, and she does a good job protecting that plate. And trying to protect herself from getting hit by maybe the ball coming back down. Maybe 10 years ago I would think about climbing that fence. Not saying I would actually do it, but I would think about it. Gonna need someone to get up there. That's the 2nd ball that's been stuck up there. 2-2 here on Barnes. Yandel's pitch. Off the plate, and now it's a full count. And the 7th pitch of this at bat is coming up right now to Lily Barnes. There's the windup from Yandel, and the 3-2 count pitch. Hit well to the second base, and it gets through. Lily Barnes is aboard. And Lily Barnes comes back from being down 1-2 in the count, fouls a pitch off, takes a couple of balls, and then gets on base, and it's a single for Barnes. Remember, there's no stealing for the Warhawks because they're up by 6. So no stealing for Kahnawake. That's strike 1 on Russanagete Lahash. He's 1 for 1 on the day. He singled back in the 2nd. Ten-4 Warhawks, top of the 4th inning. On the ground to short. The flip to second. Got her at second. Good flip by Maneri over at short, and there's one down. For Cade Stacy, 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored. He also grounded out back to end the second. Runner on first base, one down. No stealing for the Warhawks.
Maybe I'll be ready out there.
Yandel's pitch. Just finds the strike zone, nothing in one. Here's the 0-1. Hit down the line, and that'll get out of play. It's a foul ball, just a long strike. One down here in the top of the fourth inning. Yandel on the mound. Kahnawake leading by 6. Remember the Warhawks 14-7 winners on Thursday over the Surwa Red Sox. And meanwhile, this Mustangs team survived the shootout yesterday with that Red Sox squad. 15-13 victory yesterday. The action just as hot as the temperature. It's actually a little cooler today. And there's strike 3 and a big second out for Yandel. And here comes Casey Delaboost, 1 for 1. She's walked and hit a home run. She scored 2 runs. Placed that one right in that gap between left and center, and there's a good gap still there right now. Ball 1. 10-4 Warhawks in the top of the fourth. Ball in the dirt. Good catch by Thompson back there. Warhawks maxed out in the first, scored none in the second, maxed out in the third, and have not scored here in the fourth. Yandel's pitch. Upstairs. And now there's a timeout called as Thompson has some sort of issue with his mask. Well, join us tomorrow night for what will be our first of hopefully many elimination games as the U13 Warhawks play in the round of 10 matchup against whoever finishes last place in Pool B. Kahnawake 1-1, somehow, some way finishing 4th place in a pool of 5. They lost 7-6 against Soulange and then won 15-6 yesterday, plus 8 run differential, and still finished 4th out of 5 teams, including a head-to-head victory over one of the teams they were tied with. Don't ask. I don't know either. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And that's hit well right at short. Maneri makes the play, and that will do it for the top of the 4th inning. Warhawks scored no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. It's 10-4 Kahnawake leading. We're coming back with the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to the Hospital Ball Field, bottom of the 4th inning. The Kahnawake Warhawks leading the St. Lazare Grey Mustangs 10-4. Here in Game 2, the final round-robin game of this regional section. It's the Blue Pool. These two teams both 1-0 victors over the Surwa Red Sox, who have been eliminated. In fact, 4 teams are already eliminated. 2 teams are already through to the round of 6. Hit to third. Lahash knocks it down. Throw. Not in time. And he will be rewarded second. And they give Maneri second, so a good play by Colin Maneri to get things started for St. Lazare here. And runner on second, and here comes Yandel, who swings through strike one. Good looking pitch by Jaden Norton, who's now up to 47 on the pitch count. On the ground, that finds a hole. And runners are now on the corners for the Mustangs. And here's Joel Thompson, who grounded out back in the first. 0 for 1 on the day. Ball one. Ball one. And that's 48. Ball 2, 2-0. Runners on first and third. No outs. That's strike one, right on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. It'll be interesting to see who Coach Stacy goes to for the next pitcher. I know he wants to try and end it with Cade Stacy. 3-1. And that is 51. Ball 4. And the bases are now loaded for the Mustangs. And Felix Martel is up. He doubled and scored a run. He's actually the last runner who scored for the Mustangs, but a heck of a lot of opportunity now for St. Lazare. The bases are loaded, and there's no one out. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Ball 2. (10-4) Warhawks leading the St. Lazare Grey Mustangs. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. And now it's 3-0. And that's going to do it. That's 55. And Jaden Norton has pitched 6 incredible innings up to this point here in this playoffs. Pitched 55. Actually had 51 pitches on Thursday. And Ronnie Stace is going to stay with her. That's ball 4. And that forces in a run for the Mustangs. It's now 10-5. And they are going to go to Cade Stacy. Change of pitcher. Cade Stacy's coming into pitch. We're back at the hospital ball field. Fork in the road opportunity for the Gray Mustangs. Down 10-5, one run is in, but the bases are loaded and nobody is out. Ronnie Stacy has made a pitching change here in the bottom of the fourth. Cade Stacy is in. Jordan Norton moves to second. Jaden Norton over to first. On the ground, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 from Cade Stacy on Ludovic LaRoche in the dirt. Good catch. 2-1. Stefanakis on deck. That's too high, and it's 3-1 on the rush. Off the plate, and that'll force in another run. And the bases are still loaded, and the 5th run is on first now. So 2 runs are in for the Mustangs. It's 10-6. Stefanakis had a single back in the 2nd inning. Ball 1 inside. Two and 0.
Hey, fill in that hole if your foot's so good.
2-0 here. 2 runs are already in for the Mustangs.
2 balls, no strikes.
That's a ball. That's 3 balls, no strikes. And they've given him the red light here on 3-0. He's going to make Cade throw one to him. That's in there. 3-1.
Jump on it. Now it's all yours. Same throw, same throw.
Oh! And that is an RBI on a hit by pitch. And now it's 10-7. And the 3rd run is in for the Mustangs. 6 batters have come up, 6 batters have reached base, and only 2 hits. The Mustangs waiting for something good to come up. And their patience has been rewarded. Ball 1 low. So here's James Langan. Grounded it to a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. Swings through strike 1 here, 1-1. (10-7) Warhawks. The 5th run of the inning is on second base right now. So 3 are in for the Mustangs. Ball 2 off the plate, 2-1.
Know where you're going with the ball.
Strike 2, and it's an even count here, 2-2. 10-7 Warhawks here in the bottom of the 4th, but the Mustangs have loaded the bases. Only 2 of the runners can score. Ooh, off the dish, and it's a full count, 3-2. Good looking pitch for Cade, just not able to get it in the zone. That's ball 4. And so it's 10-8.
Contact, buddy.
And only 1 more run can score for the Mustangs. Bases loaded, no outs. Ball one. Basically, you're telling your infield the plays at first and the plays at home and home only. The other outs really don't matter here. Ball two.
Put it in there. It's there. Put it around his chin. That was close.
Off the plate, and now it's 3-0 on Ranger. And that was some chin music. That's strike one. And now it's 3-1. 10-8 Warhawks. Only one run can score for the Mustangs. They have the bases loaded though, and nobody out. Strike two. And now it's a full count here with no one out. Strike three, and there's one down. And here's Simon Martel, 2 for 2 with a single and a double. He's also scored a run. Ball one. A double play would get the Hawks out of the inning. That's in there. It's 1-1. Cade Stacy getting a strikeout of Ranger. Now 1-1 the count here to Martel. Off the plate. 2-1. 10-8 Warhawks. One more run could score for St. Lazare. Foul back. Here's the 2-2. And that is a big out, number 2. Martel down on strikes. There's 2 down, and the bases were loaded. 4 runs were in for the Mustangs in this inning, and now there's 2 outs. So if Cade can get Betsy to not reach base here, then the Warhawks would have avoided giving up the max. But that's ball one. And the 3, 4, 5 hitters are due up in the next inning. Jaden Norton, Dustin Dahaway, Gabriel, and Cage McCumber coming up to bat. That swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. And Cade Stacy 1 strike away from getting out of this inning without surrendering the max. Ball 2, it's 2-2. He's 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. And now it's a full count. Unless there's a foul ball, this will be the last pitch of the inning. And that is ball 4, and a run scores, and the Mustangs have maxed out. It is now 10-9 heading into the top of the 5th. Warhawks coming up to bat. Their lead cut from 10-4 to 10-9. Top of the 5th we come. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to the hospital ball field, top of the 5th inning, and they're gonna play the full 6 here. Ball 1 on Jada Norton. So Norton, Gabriel, and Cage McCumber due up for the Hawks. They lead it 10-9. Ball 2, 2-0, too low. So the Mustangs maxed out in the 4th. After the Warhawks maxed out in the 3rd, no run scored in between. That's where we stand right now. 10-9, Kahnawake leading. And here's the 2-0. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike. Jada has popped out and drove in a run on a sacrifice fly back in the 1st. So 0 for 1 technically on the evening. Ball 3, and it's 3-1 on Jada Norton. There's a 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and that is a walk for the Hawks. Every bag is valuable. And so here's Dahaway Gabriel. Gabriel hit a home run back in the 1st and scored on a walk back in the 3rd, and there is a stolen base for Norton. She's in scoring position now. So that takes the force off the 2nd. Ball 2. Cage McCumber on deck. Here's the pitch. Ball 3. Gabriel lays off. Yandel just needs to lower it a little bit. Wondering if Gabriel will get the green light from Ronnie Stacy on 3-0. And he smokes this one to short. It gets through and into the outfield. That's a base hit. Norton being waved. Gabriel hits a double. Norton scores, and the Warhawks go back up 11-9. It's an RBI double for Gabriel, swinging on 3-0, and here's Cage McCumber, who homered and was hit by a pitch and also scored a run. So 2 runs scored for him, and swings at some high stuff there, 0-1. 11-9 Kahnawake, 1 run in this top of the 5th. And swung on and missed, strike 2. Ethan Brascoop on deck.
Cage, step towards the ball.
11-9 Warhawks, runner on second base, nobody out. 1 run in. And that's strike 3. And a big time strikeout for Yandel. That's his 2nd strikeout of the game. And here comes Ethan Brascoop, having himself quite a game today. 2 for 2 with a home run and a double. 2 runs scored. And he hits this one well, and that gets to the outfield. Gabriel being waved around. Brascoop gets the 2nd. Ethan Brascoop, have yourself a ball game, my friend. 3 for 3 with 3 runs driven in. And that makes it 12-9. And here's Jordan Norton coming into bat with 1 down. Mustangs call for time. Join us tomorrow on Baby Blue Memories for the round of 10 matchup between the U13 Warhawks taking on a yet to be determined opponent, whoever finishes last place in Pool B. The Bantam Warhawks have already won their pool. They do play a game tomorrow night, but we will have their quarterfinal game on Wednesday. That'll be an 8:30 start or a 7 o'clock start in St. Laurent. U18s are in Valleyfield tomorrow. And if the Warhawks win here, they're looking at possibly playing a quarterfinal matchup on Tuesday. Runner on second, one down, and here's Jordan Norton, 1 for 2. Fouls this one back, nothing in one. Cut underneath it. Jackson Norton on deck. Norton on the ground, that hugs the line, it's knocked down. And Brass Scoop will stay at second. It's a hit for Norton. So Jordan now 2 for 3, and here comes Jackson Norton. Runners on first and second. Ball one, and they're going to send the runners. Brass Scoop will get the third. Can't steal home in PWB, but both runners do advance, and that takes the forces off of the lead 2 runners. The only force is now on first. Jackson hits this one on the infield. Thompson makes the catch. Boy, what a catch by Joel Thompson. I mean, that sun is shining brightly under there. And here's Lily Barnes, 1 for 1, and also hit by a pitch. She singled back in the 4th. 2 outs, 2 runners on, 2 runs in. Barnes on the ground, right back to the pitcher. Throw to first, in time. That's the 3rd out of the inning.
Why do we get no obstruction calls and don't get any? That was full obstruction there. No, he wasn't. You know what? That's a warning. Next one, you're gone.
We welcome you back to the hospital ball field. The bottom of the 5th inning. 12-9 Warhawks leading the St. Lazare Gray Mustangs here on Baby Blue Memories. Ball 1 on Maxim Di Batista, who is 1 for 2 with a triple and a strikeout. 12-9 Warhawks leading, and it's 2-0 on Di Batista. Bergeron and Maneri do up as well. Three and 0. Kate Stacy's going to have to settle down because when he's throwing them in there, he's dominant. There's strike 1. 3 and 1. That's to sacrifice speed for accuracy. Oh, it's inside. And Di Batista walks. And here's Jakob Bergeron, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. He also grounded out back in the 3rd. Ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3, and now it's 3 and 0. Ooh, ball 4. That's a 4-pitch walk. And what would be the game-tying run is coming into bat right now. 2 runners on, nobody out. Colin Maneri walked. Also has a double and a run scored. Fouled back, 0-1. Cade Stacy winds and delivers. That's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the ground, foul, and it's 1-2. Ball, and it's a full count.
Jump on it, guys. Jump on it.
And it's a full count on Maneri. It gets through. Nobody covering third. And it's thrown out.
1-2.
And the bases are now loaded. And here's Aiden Yandel, 2 for 2 on the day. Strike 1, 0-1. 2 singles for Yandel. On the ground, that's going to find a hole. Throw home. Out! He's out at home! What a flip from first by Gabriel. They get 1 run.
Good job, guys.
Runners on first and second, 1 out. It's 12-10. 1 in. And now the game leading run is in at the dish. It's Joel Thompson, who fouls this one off right at the Warhawks dugout. 0-1. Thompson 0 for 1 with a walk. 12-10 Warhawks. Runners on first and second. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2 on Thompson. One down. 1-2 count. Ball 2, and it's an even one. 2-2. Skied into shallow right. And it gets down. And the bases are loaded. No runs in. And here's Felix Martel, who has walked, doubled, and scored twice. Bases loaded. 12-10 lead for the Warhawks. 1 down. Ball 1. Stacy up to 43 on the pitch count. And it's 2-0. Ball 3, it's 3-0. 1 down here. Bases loaded. Strike one. It's 3-1. Ball 4. And it's now 12-11. And here comes Ludovic LaRush, hit into a grounder back in the second, walked and scored in the fourth. 12-11 lead for the Warhawks. Strike one. Nothing in one. Outside, it's 1-1. That's strike 2, and it's 1-2. Kate Stacy now up to 54 pitches. Ball 2. It's an even count. And that's 55. And they're going to keep him in here. That's strike 3, 2 down. He's at 55 right now, they say. And Christopher Stefanakis is coming up. He's 1 for 1, including being hit by a pitch. 12-11, bottom of the 5th. It's not the open inning, so we still have another inning to play, but a fork in the road opportunity with 2 down and the bases loaded. Ronnie Stacy will go speak to Cade Stacy on the mound. Don't forget, tomorrow night, U13 Warhawks playing for their season in the 4v5 elimination matchup, and they're going to keep Cade Stacy in. We'll have coverage for you starting at 7 o'clock. Warhawks against a yet-to-be-determined opponent. 2 teams are 0-2 in that division, and the Warhawks will get the team which finishes last. And they're not even playing head-to-head, so it'll be probably due to tiebreaker procedures. Back to action here. It's 12-11 Warhawks. The bases are loaded here in the bottom of the 5th. The Mustangs are at the dish. 2 down. Hit well. And they are out at third, and that is going to do it for the bottom of the 5th. So the Mustangs scored 2. It's 12-11 Warhawks, and the open inning is coming up. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. What a finish we're in for here at the Hospital Ball Field. Welcome back to the Hospital Ball Field. This is the open inning. The Kahnawake Warhawks U13 squad on top, 12-11 over St. Lazare. Gray, Jacob Bergeron has come in, the southpaw, so a lefty-on-lefty matchup here with Rosanagete Lahash. That's ball 1. Lahash, Cade Stacy, Casey Delabuse, the 3 that are going to come up to bat here, guaranteed. 12-11 Hawks. Swung on and missed. Foul tipped in the mitt. Strike 1. 1-1. That's a ball. Cade Stacy on deck. He's 1 for 3.
Mustangs, get ready. Tuck it out, boys. Tuck it out.
Over the fence. Come on.
That's a ball upstairs. 3 balls, 1 strike on Rosanagete Lahash. That's ball 4, and Rosanagete Lahash draws a walk. And here's Cade Stacy. You got some good speed on the base paths too, and it's 12-11, so stealing back on. Cade Stacy struck out in the 4th, grounded out in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 1st. And he pops this one up into the outfield. That's going to get through. It's a base hit. Runners are on first and second for Kahnawake.
No worries. Come on, guys. Runner at 3.
And here's Casey Delaboost. 1 for 2 with a home run, a walk, 2 runs scored, and she also lined out in her last plate appearance. Hit well to short. He's not on base. He's not on base. Oh, Dustin Agete is going to be thrown out. Oh my goodness. So they get the lead runner out at third. There's one out. Why'd he keep going? He was off the bag at second. So both they get the lead runner. That's gonna go in the books as a hit. Norton swings at strike one. Russell Dahaway Gabriel on deck. Strike 2, and it's 0-2 on Norton. She's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice and a walk. Also popped out. And that's strike 3. And now the runner's going to third. Runners on first and third. 2 down. And now the umps are going to gather and okay, so while they're debating what's going on, for us, Gabriel is going to step in the bat here with 2 outs. It's 12-11, and he has a big opportunity here. Lefty on lefty, the pitch. Strike 1. On the ground, up the middle, base hit Gabriel. 1 run scores. And runners are on second and third. And the Warhawks are up by 2. It's 13-11. And a timeout is called by the Warhawks. Cage McCumber steps up to bat. It's now 13-11. Here we go. 13-11, 2 runners on. The Warhawks have 1 in the open inning. And McCumber swings through. It's Cage McCumber. He's 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch, struck out, and hit a home run. That's a ball, 1-1. Ethan Brascoop on the deck. He's 3 for 3, having a monster game. Ball 2. 2-1. Ball 3. And now it's 3-1. Don't forget there's an open base over at first, so there's no force either if the ball's put in play. That's in there. Catches the inside corner. Now it's a full count. Here's the full count pitch. Ball 4. And the bases are loaded for Ethan Brascoop. 3 for 3. He's homered and had 2 doubles. 3 runs driven in. Bases loaded. Ball 1. Jordan Norton on deck. 13-11 Warhawks. 1-0 on Brascoop. Two 2-0 on Ethan now. Jordan Norton on deck for the Hawks. Here's the 2-0. Outside, and it's now 3 balls and no strikes on Ethan Brascoop. We're going to make Bergeron throw him a strike here. He's got the red light, does Brascoop. That's strike 1, and it's 3-1. There's the 3-1. That's strike 2, and now it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 13-11 Warhawks leading. The 3-2. Foul back, and we're going to have a 7th pitch of this epic at-bat. Jordan Norton still waiting on deck. On the ground, that's rolling to third, and they tag the runner out at third base. The Warhawks score 1. It's 13-11 Kahnawake. Mustangs with a chance to tie or win. Warhawks with a chance to win as well. Last inning coming up next. We're back here at the hospital ball field. Ball 1 on the batter, James Langan. He is 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice and a walk. It's 13-11 Warhawks. This is the last chance. It's the bottom of the last inning. There's strike 1. Langan behind that one, 1-1. The Warhawks lead at 13-11. Strike 2, and it's 1-2. Top of the lineup due up after this 2, Gabriel Ranger and Simon Martel. Here's the 1-2. Ball 2 off the plate, 2-2. Ball 3, and it's a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3, a huge first strikeout. Langan goes down on strikes, 1 down, and here's Gabriel Ranger, 0 for 3, grounded out twice and struck out back in the last inning. Ball 1, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 13-11, 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. That's a ball. You hear the Mustangs in the background telling Ranger to get hit by the pitch. You go stand in front of a baseball and get plunked and tell me it's worth it. It only feels worth it once you get to first base. I did get hit by a pitch 8 times one year. Here's the ball. Off the plate. 3 balls, no strikes. That's strike 1. Strike 1. 3 and 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Foul back, and now we've got a full count. It's 3 and 2. Full count on Ranger. That's ball 4. And Ronnie Stacy is going to come out and speak to Cade. He's at 70 pitches right now. And they're going to ask. They're going to go to Jackson Norton. Jackson Norton coming in to try to close it down. 13-11 Warhawks, 1 runner on, 1 out. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to the hospital ball field. 1 runner on, 1 out. 13-11 Warhawks. Game tying run coming into bat. Or what could be the game tying run. It's Simon Martel. Takes strike 1. 1-1 on Martel. Gabriel Rangers on first. 13-11 Warhawks. This is the bottom of the last inning. And Jackson Norton's ahead in the count, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 to Martel. On the ground. The flip to second is good. The throw to first will not be, but there are 2 down. And here's Braden Bessie, 0 for 2 with the walk. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI. Trying to keep this game going for the Mustangs. Foul back, nothing in 1. Two out. 0-1. Strike 2, and it's nothing in 2. And we're 1 strike away from punching a ticket to the next round. One last chance for Omads. The 0-2 pitch to Bessie. Foul or hit into infield. And we're still playing. We are still playing baseball. 13-11. 2 strikes on Bessie. Here's the 0-2.
Coming, guys.
Strike 3! And we are going to the final 6. And you know what? The Mustangs might be going as well. It all depends on what happens next. The Warhawks take it 13-11 over St. Lazare. And we are going to the final 6. And the Gray Mustangs have to hope for a blowout in the next game. Thank you very much for joining us on Baby Blue Memories. Your final score, Warhawks 13, St. Lazare Mustangs Gray 11. And the Mustangs will be the best out of the second-seeded teams right now. But that can all change depending on the next game. The Mustangs are even in terms of runs for, runs differential. They're hoping that one of these 2 teams coming up blows the other one out. And if they do that, then the Gray Mustangs can advance. Maxim Di Battista gets the game MVP for St. Lazare. And I have my game MVP. We'll see if they agree with me. He had the
Game for the Warhawks, number 3.
Ethan Nebrasku. Have yourself a game today, kid. 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a home run. And the Warhawks take it 13-11 over the St. Lazare Mustangs and have punched a ticket into the final 6. Your final score, Warhawks 13, Gray Mustangs 11. And St. Lazare will hope that their counterparts here, the Red Mustangs, can blow out their opponent. So we'll let you know more. It looks like the Warhawks have punched the ticket as the number 3 seed, and it looks like they will be playing here against the team that finishes 6th. That would be the quarterfinal. We'll see you tomorrow night when the U13 Warhawks play their round of 10 matchup. Elimination games are coming up next. I'm Brandon Bordeaux for Baby Blue Memories on a Gay Wahi.